So Frost, I saw it 2 nights ago. It's spectacular. It's a lot more than what I expected. Uh, Devanny Pinn is amazing. She captures the attention of the audience right off the bat. How was it working with her?
We've done a lot of things together, and I constantly try to challenge her or give her things that other people don't, um, just to show people what she can really do and how she can be an asset to every production. So she always wants to bring it and outdo what she did before. So
Mhm.
we ended up getting some really, I think, lightning in a bottle things,
Mhm.
uh, just without spoiling it. And she's really good there and is really an asset to any. So hopefully this can help her, help get more eyes on her for future things.
Mhm. Definitely. And she was pregnant during the time. How much did that affect shooting and how she was treated on set?
So what she produced it also. So obviously it was a lot of stress,
Mhm.
and stress and pregnancy don't really mix well. It can create a dangerous situation. So obviously it's even though she's sitting in the car the entire time. So there were certain things she couldn't do, like she couldn't scream too much. So a lot of the movie where, like in the movie when she's having labor pains or whatever, a lot of that sound was done later, and she just mimed it to put forth the effort without actually, exerting too much.
Mhm.
Of course, being who she is, she ended up doing some of that still. Um, but we had to basically like pace ourselves to where we could get her to the point where we needed her, and then give her time to cool down and then get back into it just so that she didn't put herself in danger. um,
Definitely. And there's that intense scene that I will not spoil for the audience, but
I
it
almost
sticks
did
with
that
you.
in an interview. I almost spoiled it, so I'm on good behavior today.
Yeah, that's an intense scene. I know, like, even though I've watched it 2 nights ago, it's still stuck with me. Was that always the intention with this part, or
Yes.
how did that come about?
So a friend of ours, James Cullen Bressack, had much like us, he was kind of feeling the effects of having projects canceled during COVID. And we shot this like right in the middle of COVID. We shot it in March of last year. And he had read this true story about our news article about a woman in China that this situation more or less had happened to. So he came to us wanting to put it together, went to Cleopatra Entertainment, who funded and distributed it. That was the selling, that was the hook from the beginning. So it was always the intent to include that scene, but how far we went with it, we didn't really determine until the day when we were shooting it. And I was even kind of weird about shooting it myself because it breaks a lot of taboos. This is really just going to make people be like, what's he talking about? I need to see this
Yeah.
movie. But it goes pretty far. I don't normally do things that are excessively gory, but when it came time to actually shoot it, everyone, um, everyone, was feeling that like filmmaker giddy high of everything going well, and we're like, you know what, let's just go for it. Let's really just push the boundaries with this. And the worst that can happen is we can cut it back if it doesn't work. So we ended up not cutting any of it back. And so far, the reaction to it's been interesting because whether it's positive or negative, it's still an endorsement. Like
Mhm.
there's one reviewer I think was a magazine, and their online version had an article where they basically loved the movie and then they were repulsed by the ending. So even though they did a 180 by the end, I still feel that that's effective. It did its job. And it, whether or not the reaction is good or bad, it's still a win, regardless of how the viewer feels.
Definitely. And you had your premiere 2 days ago.
Yeah.
How was that? How was watching it with an audience? How was hearing the reaction?
So unfortunately, I introduced the movie and then I had to leave. But Devanny and James, producer James, were both there as well as some of the crew. And the first thing I heard was it did exactly what it needed to do. And there were people that like audibly laughed at it, which and not a laugh like it's funny, but just one of those things like, oh my God, they're really doing it. Oh, and then some people who were kind of pissed off by it. So both of those reactions are completely valid and completely justified.
Definitely. And I've seen a lot of Miss Pinn's work. She is an incredible actress. Do you have any films of hers that are your favorites? Because I have a few that are mine.
Um, I Going back 10 years, there's one that we did. I was originally an actor and wanted to segue into filmmaking. We did one with really just our own resources and like no money called the Black Dahlia Haunting, which we had asked a distributor, like, hey, what sells for you? And they said, paranormal and true crime. So we put them together. And the movie's very simple and it's rough around the edges, but I have a soft spot for that movie because she really played this like full arc of a character and made you follow someone who's really kind of not likable in the beginning and still kind of care for her and be blindsided by. I mean, that movie doesn't have a shocking ending like Frost, but she still dies. Spoilers, but it's been 10 years, so hopefully people have seen it. But that one always resonated with me. Um, there's one that we have coming up um, that actually comes out next month. Totally different kind of movie called Battle for Saipan, and she has just a small role in it, but something that it's an action war movie, and you know one of my rules with doing those types of movies is you still have to care for the people that are fighting
Mhm.
or in the heat of battle, and her role serves to really kind of humanize one of the characters and remind him why he's there, doing what he needs to do after he's wounded. So that's one that is kind of a different turn for her
Mhm.
I hope people respond to positively. Yeah,
Awesome. Well,
this
congrats.
month, November 25th.
Number 25th. Awesome. Well, congratulations on this. Frost is amazing. Uh, I hope it gets the audience it deserves because, yeah, you're right. Whether you love this ending or you hate this ending, it's an incredible ending.
Oh, yeah, I still kind of can't believe that we actually did that. Like I said, I'm not a not really like big on putting a lot of excessive gore in my things I do, but it really felt justified and earned. And if you're gonna have that kind of scene in a movie, you really just got to.
Definitely. Well, thank you very much for your time and have a great rest of your day.
All right, thank you very much.